Action. I'm live. Add in my filter. Go live.
Anyway, live my live stream.
Just waiting for Simon. We've only got one viewer.
Are we live?
We are live. I'll take a seat. Okay.
How is everyone doing?
Everyone's good. So, welcome to our Consume Community first ever IGTV. This month we're talking all things food. So, it seemed the best thing to do would be to start in our hometown of Leeds with Mr. Indie Food himself, Simon Fogul, as seen below, down here.
Hello.
Bear with us, it's a little bit windy and breezy, and we've got a little bit of background noise because we're live from Chowdown. So, to kick things off, for those of you that don't know, Simon, can you tell us a little bit about the Leeds Indie Food story?
This is the big question. We've only got half an hour, right?
Yeah, keep it succinct.
The Leeds Indie Food story, I guess this year would be the 6th year of Leeds Indie Food, but we started the year before. We did a crowdfunding campaign, so yeah, like 2014. Predominantly a food festival in May, but I guess, my chair just went into the mud. we're live on a festival site, I guess, so anything can happen. So yeah, I guess this year, because of COVID, we changed it to a bit more business support, and we've done a lot of fundraising stuff and looking at feedback. What's me?
That's you.
That's me. I'm feeding back because COVID. In March we changed our website into a directory and we made a magazine, and we started listening to loads of stories of small business that were really struggling and obviously still are struggling now. And so we've become like a support network really for small business, like instead of a festival at the moment. But yeah, we've had meetings this morning about the festival next year, so we've got some dates for May. We might be doing some cool stuff in September this year as well. So essentially, yeah, we're a food umbrella food festival where anyone can submit an event idea to us and run the event themselves, and we help support and market it. That's it in a nutshell.
And so, taking a step back, why Leeds Indie Food? Why are you so passionate about food? Obviously, as a business, Consume's very passionate about food. I've got my 2 food businesses. I'm half Chinese, so obviously it is ingrained in me to love food. But why do you love food? Why are you passionate?
Who doesn't love food? I can see Josh Whitehead's just joined. Hey, Josh. I mean, it's people like Josh that are on the call, and Manji, all the stories and passion in the city. We've got such a ridiculous food in this city, an indie, mainly all indie. The brand restaurants came after the indies to Leeds, and that's what I kind of like about it. But why do I like food? I was never a foodie growing up. I always, I guess the meals were like meat and 2 veg when I grew up. I discovered food when I came to Leeds to university, and I'd never even had fast food. I mean, apart from McDonald's, that's all there was, because I grew up in Scarborough. So we came to Leeds and I was like, what's KFC? I didn't know that. I wasn't witness to this. And then, it started from there. It started with a mackerel bat from Fish Hand from Andrew Critchett, my love of street food. It used to be on Commercial Street many years ago. And every Friday I'd go to chat to him about music at that time, get a mackerel bap, and then I was like, this is amazing, there needs to be more of this. And then the Indie Food story started with a group of people in Duke Studios, funny enough, just getting together and deciding that Leeds needed a food festival that was a bit different and ran differently, rather than just the usual festivals that you find in cities these days.
Also, just to point out that Scarborough has probably the best fish and chips. I was actually speaking to Rebs that's just the side of us handling the technical bits. She's actually never been to Scarborough and had fish and chips, which makes me very sad. So we should probably take her.
I think, I used to work in a chippy, the famous one on the seafront, Winking Willie's, back when I used to be the chip boy and the fish boy. So if anyone's been to Scarborough, Winking Willie's, that's where I started my food journey. I never talk about it.
That's a little tidbit that we found out right there. So what changes? So obviously I've been hanging around this food scene and running my businesses for the last 2 years. But what did it look like 6 years ago? I can't really remember. I've been in Leeds 10 years, but I can't remember the indie food, 5, 6 years ago. So what did it look like? What's the major changes been?
What it looked like was we've got there's a few groups. So like the North Bar was the original craft beer bar in the whole of the UK, like '97. And you had like places like Fuji Hero that have been open for so long, the Reliance. I guess that was the indie food scene, those like businesses, the established indies as I call them. And then 6, 7 years ago, you had the Belgrave and Bunderlust like kind of give that encouragement for others really. And that's, I guess we came along 2015 and bam, it was just lucky that we had Belgrave and Bunderlust getting national attention. And but Belgrave's roof terrace we were talking about in the office earlier, like no one thought about opening roof terraces in Leeds till I guess Belgrave started, and now everyone's got a roof terrace, so it kind of there was something special around then, and it's just kind of growing. Obviously we've lost a couple in COVID of businesses, but hopefully we won't lose too many. But I just think like there's passion, and a lot of people showed during COVID that we are a community, we want to help each other out, and I think that's what makes it special. Not just the food but the people, and that community element is like really good. And you can see that with the breweries and obviously the food as well.
And what about the cuisine? Has the cuisine changed? Is there any differences and kind of trends happened over the last 6 years that stood out?
Well, I mean, back 6 years ago was the burger boom. And if you remember, that's when Almost Famous and Meat, Liquor and Reds were like new on the scene. And that's when Bunderlust opened, actually, they were the vegetarian restaurant. We never, it was never meant to be a vegetarian. We were never in the marketing or anything. It just opened. So I guess we've gone from that, and now I guess at the moment I don't know what the new trends are, because I think people are just trying to survive and just everyone's on like streamlined menus because of supply chains. But I think come next year there's going to be a few new things that could open. Still waiting on a ramen restaurant. Like obviously we've had a couple of pop-up ramen stuff, but there's definitely room for that. I keep saying that every year for the last 3 years. So, but yeah, there's. We've proved that. I guess we're on the Chow Down site, and this is an open air restaurant. Essentially, that's how it's run. It's not a street food festival. Everything's table numbered service. So we're trying to, take it to a different level, and I'd love to keep this permanently, like with rotating food and giving new people the chance to like try stuff out. And that's kind of where I want Leeds Into Food to go. Because loads of people have been cooking. I know I listened to your podcast the other day, and you were saying that you only cook to eat at home, and you hate that. But there's some chefs out there that have, found a new passion maybe, and like I wanted them to get in touch with us. And I kind of I've got this incubator idea, which I've been writing some proposals for to get some sponsorship and stuff. And that's where we could take Leeds Into Food to help people on the ladder through, even if it's street food or restaurant, and find the new chefs that might be out there.
What cuisine is missing? Also, I don't cook at home. That's the irony, is I can cook, but I don't cook. I have a living chef that does that for me.
Exactly.
But what cuisine do you think is missing? So, what do you think Leeds is missing? Like you said, ramen, but what from like your travels have you seen from other cities or other places that you think that would be great to have in Leeds? I think we're missing desserts. And not baked ones. I like that ice cream that's like the ice cream, and then they mash a chocolate into it, and they've got the frozen pate.
Like Froconet, who were here this weekend at Chow Down, are pointing in because they're just setting up over there. They're vegan ice cream, so it's like coconut-based desserts. They're amazing. They're based from Sheffield, actually. I agree. I'm not really a dessert person, though. I prefer to have more starters if I'm going out for a meal. But yeah, that's why I always say ramen, because ramen and pho, from my travels, that's what I, really good pho, really good ramen, soup-based stuff. Because you can have that in summer, you can have it in winter. I just really want a good one, which I'm sure will open soon.
A poutine. We're missing a poutine provider, actually.
Well, I think with my street food hat on, there's a lot of poutine stuff, and we've got poutine today, so this weekend. So I feel like there's a lot of street food poutine, just not maybe restaurants. Someone's just come in, actually.
Yeah, they're just we've got someone trying to gate crash our live.
I don't know where I'll just wave.
Um, so what do you think what's in general, not just Leeds, but generally, what do you think about the future of indie food? So obviously we've got a lot of open air things now, but looking a year ahead and beyond, what do you what's your vision? What do you think will happen, or what do you hope will happen?
I mean, indie food, like generally, like this could happen in most cities. We're in a unique position with Leeds indie food in that I don't think there's any city that's got anything like it, or how we want to take it with the business support, the festival, and the experience. So kind of we could take it out of the city. That's been rumoured. There's some cities close to Leeds that we love. Going to generally as punters, like Manchester and Liverpool, go there quite a lot. So the future could be that. I want to get Leeds nailed first though, with our business support services, and like we want to get people involved because we normally have the passport holders, which is like the festival thing. I want to make that a bit more year round. Like May's all right generally. If the weather's good, businesses do well in May. So it's kind of all year round stuff that we would like to do. So smaller events. And yeah, Christmas is a tough time for indies really, like not getting to shout because you've got like all the shopping centres in Leeds just spending loads of money on marketing, saying shop, and the indies do get left behind a little bit on that marketing run. But we want to help as many indies as possible really.
Someone's just put a comment there. Actually, we've got a bit of interaction here. Someone's saying in the US there's a lot of clean eating and
Clean
true.
eating.
Well, I think there's obviously the uprising of vegan stuff, and I have my own views on that. Um, which is a side note. If you listen to the Rice to Meet You podcast, episode 3, you'll understand my views on kind of veganism coming from an Asian background. But I think there's definitely a lot more options, definitely in the UK for vegan food. But I think on the wider spectrum, cleaner eating isn't just vegan. So what else can we do? In terms, obviously,
Yeah.
there's lean lunch that we're both familiar with for clean eating. What other ways can we have clean eating that doesn't make it makes it seem more appealing, more fun, and doesn't feel like it's so much of
Yeah.
a preachy lecture, I think.
I think vegan food. I think it was a few years ago. We had a big debate at a Leeds Indie Food event, which included a few chefs, and there was a bit of a heated debate on veganism. But I think for me, clean eating is sustainable food. Really, that's the important
Yeah,
issue.
that's true.
Locality, produce, and I know that there's a lot of money just come into Leeds this week actually from climate emergency stuff, and which will hopefully some will get used towards like the sustainable stuff. I think there's Foodwise and people like that in Leeds that are doing good, and the partnerships, and generally, that's where I'd like to see like that stuff going. And we've got a couple of event ideas for September actually, like sustainable dinners and stuff with everything grown and on site essentially. So you're eating from your allotment style things. So I think clean eating is important, and that's kind of fits in with sustainable.
And I think as much as I would say, we definitely need to support the industry, I think there's something to be done around teaching people to cook.
Yeah,
Being able to, we had spoken to Zero Waste Leeds previously as Consume about doing a series about what's in my fridge, and having a chef just open a random fridge and tell them, actually, if you put these things together, you can have pretty good quality stuff. So I've got a chef
yeah.
at home, and every night we just open the fridge, and he makes very superb dinners. It's just
I'm
stuff that we have in
jealous.
there.
I have. I cleaned my fridge out, so I have some eggs in my fridge, an
Eggs is
onion,
a good
some garlic.
meal. That's an omelette. What are you talking
Well, no,
about?
exactly, but like that's all I have, and some ketchup. I need to go food shopping basically, but I guess I'm lucky to work in a chow down where I get to eat lots
Yeah.
of food every week. I just saw actually that Vessels in Plymouth joined. They actually talking about the passport. Leeds Indie Food first year, they won the competition, which they gave the most stamps during the festival, and they won like tickets to Leeds Festival. They got like 70 stamps. They went to 70 indies in 2 week period.
Oh, I think I could rival that. I could have that. I could have got that. I did love the passport. I really enjoyed that. So I would glad to see the passport back. And also the clean eating, while I think about it, I say I really loved the way that Bundo do their menu. It's completely vegetarian. And I took my brother, who's an absolute carnivore and was
Yeah.
still just wouldn't believe me when I took him there. I was like, well, this has got to be chicken. I was like, no, that's paneer. That's his own issue. But I love the way they do. They don't kind of preach. It is just really good, tasty food,
Yeah.
and there's nothing to it. So I have to say that, that's it. We'll give Marco a shout out. We do love Bundo and the guys with Shad.
Oh, yeah, Michael. I mean, yeah, I've worked with them since the early days, and still continue to work with them. So I've been on the journey with Bundo, and it's a really cool journey.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I
they've
got to go
some
next
stuff.
door as well. I haven't been to Taravadi yet. I need to go next door.
Taravadu have just said hello on the
Oh,
chat.
there. Hello, I'm coming. I'm coming at some point.
Is that why? I thought, oh, that's why you're saying hello. Taravadu
No,
is
it's next
amazing.
door because I always think I should go next door, especially when I was working at Platform, but I've never been actually yet.
We've got another comment. Yeah, I mean, like Leeds College, we did reach out to them a few years ago, and that's this incubator idea I have. That's where I would get the college to get involved. Hopefully, if you're listening, I would like to chat to you about that.
I think it's about making it accessible as well. Obviously there are places you can book on and do cooking, and we've got quite a few very privileged friends that do very nice cooking courses and go travelling. But I think it's also about people at home. Like, here are some simple dishes with not expensive ingredients
Yeah.
that you can learn to cook. And I think that's something, definitely from my background, that's something ingrained in you. It's how to be able to cook with basic things.
Yeah,
And
totally.
chopping, I would love to go on a chopping course. I cut my stuff horrifically. It looks like a dog's chewed it, but it tastes good. But yeah, I think there's some basic cooking courses.
So yeah, we actually this year in Leeds Indie Food, I was working with Leeds Cookery School, or we were going to be working with Leeds Cookery School about this thing. So it's the top 5 ingredients from your store cupboard, and it's like, what can you make with these 5? So it's a bit like Ready Steady Cook-esque. And that was the idea that, like you said, everyone needs to know. Like, I always have, when I went to Lisbon last year, I still got the tinned fish in my cupboard. I'm like, I don't know what, apart from putting them on toast, like, what can I do with that? And like, when I spoke to them, it's like, you can make a lasagna and stuff. And I was like, never thought of that. So
you can put it in a
totally
ramen, Simon. You could make a laksa.
Look, I could do
very nice laksa.
Spicy mackerel. Lovely.
So in terms of food in Leeds, if you were new to Leeds, if you just landed off the train, where would you tell them to go to find the Leeds indie food scene or find good food?
I mean, coming off the train now, you're spoiled for choice.
Well, obviously,
yeah, like, so you turn right as you come out of the station onto New Station Street. You've got Lanes, you've got Rudy's now. Obviously, there's Friends of Ham. Turn the corner, you've got Bundabus, Taravadu. Keep walking, you've got Little Balboy in North Bruco. So instantly, you've got that's your journey, and it's like, that's a great night out just there.
But then, Trinity Kitchen. You could go to Trinity Kitchen.
Well, you can't at the moment. I don't think they've got street food in there. They've only got the permanent places. So I don't know when they'll get street food back, or maybe they have. And I've just missed it, but there wasn't like a few weeks ago. But yeah, that's why. I mean, obviously, I had to say come to Chow Down, but we're only here for 7 more weeks.
Only 7 more weeks.
I say only, but yeah, like from going from not doing any events, and then this has been put together 5 weeks now. It was 2-week site build. It came out of the blue, out of nowhere. So it's kind of like, well, it's happened, but it's been proving popular. I don't know if this is your next question, but we just put Bank Holiday on sale this morning. It's nearly sold out already, like the whole weekend. That's 5 days of people booked in, which I think is incredible feat in 5 weeks. Building a site, selling out pretty much every weekend. Like Sunday was the first time we had rain, and it's the first time that some people didn't turn up that had booked a table, but it was still worth opening up.
It's definitely, it's been hard to try and get in. I tried to get in and I've gotten in. I know you, and I couldn't get in. I've had to wait a couple of weeks to come over. But yeah, I think there's a few places, but I think if you don't know where to go, actually, there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, I didn't know there was an indie food scene," and they still go to high street places. They go to Greek Street, but I think it's worth kind of just giving the other places a shout out. So there are all around the train station. There's independents. I just showed Rex on the way here. I showed her the Midnight Bell and the Cross Keys, which got that lovely outdoor kind of seat there. And now most of the agencies aren't about the moment. You can probably actually get a really good spot. Um, so, what advice would you give to someone who is an indie food business, or someone that's like, I really am passionate about this food, I'd like to give it a go? What advice would you give them? What say your like top three things you would say to them?
So these are a customer wanting to, or is
No,
this a
yeah, this is
business?
just someone at home that's like, I really love this type of food. I would like to go into business and do my own indie food business or a pop up or something. Where would you tell them to start?
Oh God! Well, I wish the incubator was open, and I'd tell them to sign up to 3 months masterclasses. That's kind of the idea for that. I'd say check out the Leeds Indie Food website, which is currently got information on like the indie food scene. There's a little map where everyone's who's doing Eat Out to Help Out is on. There's a directory of the indies. It's not every indie in Leeds because obviously I don't have time to fill that in, but that's done by people contacting us. But most people are on there that have worked with us before. If you're a business, I would say, contact us because we're talking about next year, and hopefully, we'll be allowed to do bigger events and smaller events properly without the distancing thing. So basically, I know I would say this, but join our club. Become an
I
indie
think
folk warrior. I'm making that up on the spot.
for me, having been through the process twice over now, my advice would be do your research. So what I did for the year before we set up our first food businesses, we went to every indie food event, which is why I think I could rival the other guys on their 70 indie food events. Go out, meet people. Most people are really friendly. So when we've been to Eat North previously, which is the smaller version of what Chowdown was, talking to the vendors, most people are really helpful and friendly, and they'll tell you the things you need to know about boring things like insurance or setup or suppliers, and get started. There's a big difference between cooking at home for 5 people and then trying to cook en masse. So, if you can get a bigger group together, just keep testing and actually do it. But I think with all business, my advice is just to begin, but definitely research, go out and enjoy some food, see what other people are doing.
Yeah, I think the future of indie food will be hopefully signing partnerships with a couple of national groups like the UK Hospitality and like NCAS, for example. So we want to do like training and stuff in Leeds from a space, hopefully the incubator space. But we kind of want to do more of that. Obviously, I work with lots of small food traders that like Chowdown North and various other food events that we get to book. We're passionate about that. So yeah, I mean, we can help on any of that stuff. And yeah, you're right. Like any scene in Leeds, like the digital tech scene as well, food scene, getting involved, just going to those networking events. And weirdly, the food one, obviously they're all online at the moment. The food one, we haven't really got one. There's the IFDA, which is, will come back, I'm sure, next year. There's the Independent Food and Drink Academy, which is run by Leeds Beckett Uni. But yeah, we kind of want to do more stuff. Basically, just have a little monthly meetings as Leeds Indie Food and just have a couple of beers, discuss wars, discuss, like when COVID kicked, how do you do a COVID risk assessment? It's like stuff like that just, new stuff, new paperwork, how do you do it, and all that jazz, really.
People are saying there's some feedback on my side. That's because Simon didn't wear his earpods.
That's my fault. I don't have earpods. I'm not cool enough.
I can hear that. Oh. Okay, well, I think that's it from us. We're trying to keep them tight for 25 minutes. That's a good chat about an insight into indie food. We'll post up some links after so that you can find out how to book in for Chowdown.
There's some aggressive sweeping going on here as well.
Yeah, there's some very
But there's some of the feedback. Could it be the trains as well? We are sat next to the train tracks. Like
technical difficulties.
Just do a spin.
Yeah, we'll do a quick pan round, shall we? Let's just drop the camera. Rebecca's just here.
I think that's as far as I can go.
Okay, well, I think we'll wrap up there. So, thank you so much, Simon.
No worries.
That's been Simon Fogul from Leeds Indie Food. You can also find him at Chowdown, Chapter 81, sometimes in a car park outside Northbury at Eat North. We'll be back next week with It's Alex. and Turtle and Hare talking branding. We'll add this to our YouTube channel if you want to find more. But if you haven't done, book yourself a ticket. Thanks for the bank holiday tickets are going up now, and we'll catch you all very soon.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.